Welcome to JasonWhiskyWise. My name is Jason. Welcome today to this whiskey review. We're going to continue my Deanston series and we're going to be reviewing the Deanston 18-year-old. So I want to say quickly a massive shout out to my friend Jez as he loaned me this bottle, and I want to say a massive thank you. I'm going to leave our links over here to our London Whiskey Club. Feel free to go and join anytime you guys are in London. Feel free to come to one of our tastings. So Deanston 18, this is continuing on my mini Deanston series. We reviewed the 12, we reviewed the Virgin Oak, and this is the third in line, and we've got a couple more to come. But if you have missed any of the videos, I'll leave the links here in the top corner. Be sure to check them out first. Now, Deanston 18, it's an 18-year-old whiskey bottled at 46.3%. The actual initial maturation for this one is, to what I've read, is it's matured initially in ex-bourbon casks, and then it's transferred over into first fill bourbon for around about 2 years to be finished off. So it's got a 16 to 2 years maturation to give it the 18-year-old age statement. Now, the distillery itself is the Deanston Distillery. They are owned by the parent company Distill, and they are located in the Highlands of Scotland. And they're actually not too far from Glasgow, and we will take you along with me on my journey, as I want to try also a few other ones from Deanston, like the Decenary. I believe they've got a 14-year-old Spanish Oak. They've even got a Sauternes cask, which I'm really looking forward to wanting to try these when I go up to Scotland. Now, the actual price point on this bottle, to what I found, is £76 here in the UK. So, if any of you guys have this bottle actually at home, pour yourself a dram, and let's dram along with this one, and let me know what you think at the end of the video in the comment section. So, £78 here in the UK. Is it exclusive? No, it's not. It's part of their core range, so you will see this one quite available. And in terms of caramel colouring, it is all natural colour. Now, I want to mention also this. It says over here, unchill filtered, exactly as it should be, which I think many people would like to see more of whiskey companies doing that. And it says here, we put everything we are into everything we make. And that's a motto that I follow in life. Do as much as you can, but at the same time, put everything into it, and you'll get a lot more out of it. So, without further ado, let's jump straight into the nose. Starting things on the nose now for the Deanston 18. And actually, I want to start things, before I get into the actual tasting notes, with a question of the day. And the question of the day today is going to be, what's your favourite Deanston expression? So if you've tried any Deanston, even if you tried one Deanston, let me know in the comment section, and what did you like about it as well? Because for me, we're doing this sort of flight of them, and I'm comparing them all. At the end of the video, I will compare this to the 12, to the Virgin Oak, and we're going to see what other ones I got lined up. I got a few special ones as well. But starting things on the nose of this one, it's actually very inviting. It's like the 12. It's quite summery, but this one's got a little bit more depth on it to the nose. I'm thinking straight away of this one. shortbread biscuits. Then I'm getting these vanilla custard cream biscuits that you can get also in the shops. It's like a biscuit, a vanilla biscuit. It's got like a cream layer, and then it's got vanilla biscuit on the end. It just gives me that nice sweet approach. As if you open a packet of these and you can just smell that aroma. And yeah, I used to eat these a lot when I was a kid, and they're just, they're so delicious. It's got this slight note even on this one, that appley character, but it's not like a toffee apple. It's like the toffee and the apple are two separate elements. It's almost like it's a Bramley apple sauce. As if, when you're doing cooking and you've got this Bramley apple sauce on the side, it's kind of like that. And when I say toffee now, give me that sweeter note, that rounded character. It's almost like a toffee Bakewell cupcake. And Mr. Kipling's do these. And actually, that's something I'm going to try after this video. I might go get a cupcake and pair it with this Deanston 18, because that would be quite something if they go hand in hand. There is a little bit of a Candied Ginger. This has got quite a nice sweet approach. It's got like a very good balancing on the nose, where as soon as you're getting something which may feel a bit too, harsh, it's then countered with something quite sweet to balance it out, which is really great. And there is a slight note on this one to me like lemongrass. It's got a grassy approach, but at the same time a gentle citrus, and it's not orange, nor grapefruit. That is a really fun nose on this one. Let's now get into the palate next. Sláinte. Start things now on the palate. I'm actually going to give a recommendation. When you drink this whiskey, and I tried this whiskey at a bar, and trying it now is a completely different thing. This whiskey needs a different atmosphere. It needs to be relaxed and enjoyed over time. and you really start to see the flavors starting to show themselves. I tried this in central London and I really didn't like it. But now I'm sitting at home, I'm really finding these different characters evolving, and comparing it now to the 12 even, I'm seeing these differences that are just starting to show. So initially you get this spicy character, this spice element, which is almost like a mouth-warming character, almost like sweet cloves. And then it starts to evolve, it gets softer, it becomes sweeter. And to me, it's almost got like a spiced honey character. And then it now goes into almost like a sweet tobacco as it dries the palate slightly, but not too much. It's got quite a nice velvety character, and I can feel it sinking into my jawlines. So I almost want to chew this whiskey. That is very interesting. I'm going to have a second sip and see what other notes we can develop. Yeah, so from the second sip now, that little mouth-warming character, almost like gingerbread, it's there on the palate. That texture now has become a bit more richer, a slight little bit added viscosity to it. And then you get almost like this honeyed, maybe sugar-coated nutty character, almost like a sugared almond. I'm trying to search for these flavors in my head. It's just kind of interesting where you're almost having to think a lot more because the flavor profile is just going all over the place, and it's something very unique about that. But then after that, you're getting this orangey character, and the orange, it feels like a rich Seville orange, but then it feels almost that it goes very bitter on the end, and it becomes almost like a pith, like an orange pith, giving that bitter note right on the end. Just when you thought, it's going to be almost perfect on the palate, that slight bit changes on the end. Kind of interesting. This is one that I'm definitely having fun experimenting with. Let's get into finish next. So overall opinions now on the finish for this whiskey. It's got a nice appley finish, but it's almost got these elements of that apple, but it's got spice and it's got sweetness. And if I combine them together, the only thing I can think of is almost like a spiced apple covered in toffee. So a spiced toffee apple. Very interesting. It's got a very nice long finish, and that malty character is almost not there on the finish, but it's got that velvety texture, and that prolongs it completely, giving it almost, I'd say, a long finish. It's still holding out. It's incredible how it's doing that. So, time for my rating and give you my opinion on this whiskey. This one over here, I was going to give it a lot more, I don't know, because that palate, where again bitter, I was going to mark it down quite severely. However, I'm giving this one over here a 91 out of 100. In terms of what this one offers compared to the 12, compared to the Virgin Oak, this one will win hands down. But versus the 12, you can see there's a bit of added depth, a bit of added character about this one, which you can't write off. In terms of value for money, £78, all 18-year-old expressions nowadays are at that price point. So I really can't, pull up a fuss on that. In terms of, do I think it needs water? Do I think it needs time? Maybe just give it the time factor. For me, if you just let this whiskey breathe, sit there, relax, and enjoy its flavor profile, it's going to give you heaps and bounds worth of more character than like when I had it at a bar and I just found it spicy and I just couldn't palate it, and I was like, you know what, probably not going to buy that. But I'm grateful I got loaned this bottle so I can really get to start seeing how it evolves over time, and that's something I think this one does prize on. And actually, to talk about what it prizes on, I think Deanston are onto something because it does also have that velvety texture. Deanston, maybe you guys are onto something very big. And I also want to say a massive shout out to also Roy Aquavite. He always tells us about Deanston, and now trying it quite a few times and going for a bottle over there as well. You really start to see what this distillery has the potential for becoming. So if Deanston keeps the prices the same, this is one I highly suggest people go out and give a try. Even if you try the 12, I think when it comes down to the 12 and the 18, 12 is just that every day. I could see that being in my house every single day, any day of the week. And I can drink that any time. Whereas the 18, it's got a bit more character, a bit more depth. And that's something that also should be really savored and enjoyed. I think that's about enough for me on the conclusion. 91 out of 100. That's been me, JasonWhiskyWise. If you guys have enjoyed the video, feel free to drop it a thumbs up. Be sure to hit the subscribe button. I'll leave some other Deanston videos on the screen. But that's been me. I'll catch you all for the next video. Slàinte.